Okay, let's dive right back into the discussion with Barry because I don't want to. I don't want to miss the most important topic. As I titled this video, or this broadcast. So Barry, um, if we would zoom in, like really zoom in, it's been a very long time. But I'm not going to zoom in. I'm going to zoom back a little. I'm just going to say since October 7, 2023. There has been a very calculated, I called it paid on the title of this show, and I'll have my reasons and I'll explain. But there's a very calculated movement of anti-Semitic narrative pushed out very hardcore by former conservative and self-proclaimed Christians out there, such as Candace Owens, such as Tucker Carlson, one of your favorites. I remember the time that you were a fan of Tucker, such as Alex Jones, such as Michael Yon, and on and on and on. I, short on the title of this, I said, this is a dangerous paid movement that is endangering more Jewish lives. What are your thoughts on this movement? I mean, do you even agree there's a movement?
In the case of Tucker Carlson, who, as you said, I used to be a big fan, and Candace Owens, who I was a big fan. Yeah, they've gone to the dark side. I've done a number of shows on both of them in particular because they are the most popular, what we would call far right, and some people call them far Reich, Reich, as in the German Reich. Who have literally led the way into anti-Semitism. When you look at Tucker Carlson, from the time he left Fox News suddenly with no warning, with no explanation given, and then resurfaced weeks later with Tucker Carlson Network, the money for the network came from someone with a radical Islamic background. And since that time, the $15 million he took from a Pakistani-Iranian funder of his network, he's been selling his time on the network to radicals like the Emir of Qatar. It was reported that the Emir of Qatar paid him $150,000 for a brief interview where Tucker just fawned all over him. And this is the guy that was
Don't forget the president of Iran. Recently, during the UN General Assembly, he did an interview with Pezeshkian.
Yeah, and I was going to say that the cutting edge investigative reporter Tucker Carlson is like a fanboy with these radicals. I mean, let's not forget, Qatar is the funder of Hamas. They are the home of Hamas. They direct, lead, and support them financially, spiritually, religiously, and the billionaire heads of Hamas live under the protection of the Emir of Qatar. So
let me stop you for a second because this is a hot moment. It needs to have a second sentence attached to it. And let's not forget now, that very guy is also under direct protection of the United States of America because President Trump signed an executive order giving full protection to Qatar through negotiation, diplomacy, or military. We will protect Qatar, the very Qatar sovereignty that is protecting, housing, funding the heads of Hamas. So I just had to it was such a perfect timing, Barry.
And I'm so saddened by that news. I don't understand it. The largest air base of the American military is in Qatar. And the hostages could have been released in 15 minutes if Donald Trump had picked up the phone 2 years ago, Annie, and had said, the air base is moving to Saudi Arabia as fast as we can move the planes and the buildings and the support personnel. If you don't get the hostages out of the dungeons under Gaza, the Emir would have picked up the phone and called into Gaza and said, the hostages are coming out tomorrow. We will not lose this airbase. Now that was under Biden, so I didn't expect that to happen. But under Trump, it could have happened on his first day in office. Instead, get this, all of the countries are now in Egypt negotiating, renegotiating, and renegotiating the terms of the release of the hostages and the end of the war in Gaza under the auspices of Qatar, who
And Turkey.
Absolutely, the head of military intelligence and their secret service from Turkey, who has chanted death to Israel, who is a NATO member but hates America and hates the Jews in Israel and has talked about wiping out Israel. They are the leading sponsors of Hamas at this point, and they are the emissaries of peace negotiations in Sharm el-Sheikh in Egypt. It's insane. And like you said, I can't explain it. Trump could have gotten the hostages out the day after inauguration by threatening to close the base and move it to Saudi Arabia, or Kuwait, would have taken the base in 15 seconds with gratitude that would have lasted a millennium. And instead, I don't understand it. Trump is kissing Tushy of the leading financial sponsor of terror in the world. Now, Iran trains everybody. Iran sends the missionaries out. Iran gets the weapons. But the chief benefactor financially is Qatar. And we got started on this rant by you asking me about Tucker Carlson,
Yes.
right?
I just realized I derailed the Tucker Carlson, but jumping in, but go ahead.
Yeah, but it's so true. It's all connected. Qatar is paying Tucker Carlson. He knows where the money's coming from. And, to answer your brief question on Candace Owens, we used to be in communication, she and I. I was a big fan. And then she got married, and her husband is a radical, I hate Israel believer in a bizarre religion that does not grant the Jews equality in the world. And so Candace has come along with that same philosophy. It's so bad in that family that George Farmer, her husband, his own father, that's a lord in the English monarchy, has disavowed his son and his daughter-in-law's positions, meaning Candace, you can read it online. He's horrified by their positions, especially what she says every day. And he has openly disavowed it, saying the best man at my wedding was Jewish. My best friend is Jewish. I'm a big supporter of Israel. I disavow what they're saying. This is the father-in-law of Candace Owens. And I can tell you that as I read every day, and I've published many videos on the wacky stuff that she comes out with, people are calling her kooky Candace because every day she's got another theory, crazier than the one before. Her post last night, Charlie Kirk is now
Charlie's coming to her in dreams
and telling me that he's going to reveal who his assassin was, and I'm going to learn about it when I go to sleep at night, and I will report to you. She is getting wackier by the day, and her chief enemy is the state of Israel. And her second enemy is all the rest of the Jews in the world, which are behind everything, including, insanely, the assassination of John F. Kennedy, the assassination of Charlie Kirk. They've run the United States government since the 1960s. I mean, the Israelis, the country that's about this big, with less people that live in New York City. According to her, I mean, she's a wackadoodle. And there are other people on the right that are as nutty as she is. And Tucker has become one of them. And if you look at the video that's out online where Tucker now defends Sharia, and he says submission is a good idea, and he says it openly, and you realize, and you as a scholar, I'm not talking to you because you can report this in its own language. I'm talking about to your audience. If you realize what Sharia is and the subjugation of the world that would entail an implication of that religion around the world, and Tucker Carlson is saying submission to God is so great. How I don't know why people dislike it. He's lost his mind. He's literally lost his mind. And it really amazes me when you read the comments to his videos where these Muslims come on and say, just say the Shahada and you're one of us. The one prayer that causes you to be converted in the eyes of Islam. They think he's like this close to leaving whatever Christian philosophy is left in his soul to become one of them. And if somebody writes a big enough check, I bet you he's there.
On a private conversation, I told you, I said, if you ask me, I think he already said the Shahada to get the bigger check coming from Pakistan, Qatar, and Iran. But here's the thing, what he doesn't understand, genuinely, I believe he does not understand. When he says submission to God is the whole purpose of faith, he doesn't understand. In Islam, you don't submit to God, you're submitting to Allah, aka you're submitting to Satan. He will come to learn that. Wait for it. He will come, so will Candace. Candace can give platform and hours of interview to her buddy, Tate brothers, who are literally, and Andrew Tate literally said, I became a Muslim because it allows me to do the grooming and trafficking I do. So Tate knows what he's doing. Candace will soon realize what she's doing too. However, as we come to the end of this segment, bottom line is, I understand there's a lot of talking heads out there with huge audience pushing this propaganda and normalizing anti-Semitism and a straightforward hatred for Israel and accusations. I really hope Bibi Netanyahu, to go ahead and does what Macron did, suing Candace Owens for all the accusations towards his wife. That was the case. But I really think Netanyahu should take some sort of legal action against Alex Jones, Mike Adams, whatever his name is, forgot, Candace Owens, the rest of them, just to show them that there are accountabilities. Yes, you have the freedom of journalism, so do I. But there's a line when your accusations cross the line, then you have to be held accountable.